Welcome back to Superstarglam and welcome to today's video. I definitely wanted to do this video because I have done one in the past, and I think that at this point it's a little long overdue for a new one, just because there have been several launches as of recently, especially at the beginning of this year. I do have a haul video coming up. I'm just waiting for a few things to arrive. But in the meantime, I had been kind of like scrolling through my social media, Trend Mood, and trying to see all the new stuff that has come out. And there's a lot of stuff in here that's, I don't know, I guess I could say that it just doesn't interest me. It doesn't spark any creativity or any want or even any FOMO from me to give me the urge to purchase this. At no point am I making this video to attack anybody, to insult anybody. My preference on items or things are completely different than yours or anybody else's. So this is just my personal opinion on these items, or my reason making that decision that I don't feel that I need these items in my life. Of course, I'm also allowed to change my mind. I just want to clarify that I have the option to do that as well, to change my mind on all these products. So, the YouTuber that deserves the credit for, at least for giving me this idea, is from Samantha March here on YouTube. She is um, the the one that, in my opinion, created this anti-haul or will I buy it videos. So that's where I drew inspiration on my video. So anyways, without keeping this video any longer than it probably will be, all I want to say is, if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, then what are you waiting for? Go ahead and click that little button down below, subscribe, and become part of the Superstar Glam Squad family. Go ahead and also click that little bell, the notification bell, to alert you every time I upload a video. So if you're interested to see what videos, what products I will not be purchasing, then just keep watching. Okay, so I'm going to start off with, I believe it's a Trend Mood. I mean, I'm probably not telling you anything new, but if you didn't know, Trend Mood, you should follow Trend Mood on Instagram, because they are on top of it when it comes to breaking news in the beauty industry with all new makeup releases. Okay, the first item that just caught my eye is from Too Faced. It is a new palette, and it is called the Natural Lust palette. And I know that they already have a palette similar to this. It looks very, very similar in terms of packaging. I think it is called the Natural palette. It's a very soft, light shades, and I was never interested in that palette. Now this palette, I'm still not interested. There's like more than half of the palette itself that just looks like a bunch of light matte and shimmers. And in the past, I've mentioned that a lot of shades that are like that are, I don't know if it just has to do with my skin tone, but a lot of them, the light shades just end up looking very similar on my eyes. There's just too many similar shades that it consists of the more than half of that palette, so it just doesn't give me enough variety. Now the last two columns, they look very, very nice, but it actually, I'm gonna put a side-by-side picture, but I feel that that last two rows remind me a lot of this palette. It's the Alamar Cosmetics. We got this, I think, on in a BoxyCharm. And tell me that doesn't look very similar to that last row from the Too Faced Natural Lust palette. This palette's just going to be a pass for me. Okay, so this one is a spring launch from Benefit Cosmetics. I don't know where to begin with Benefit. What they're famous for, like their Hula bronzer and a lot of their famous blushes. The Hula bronzer was one of those few bronzers that you can that was very neutral based, so you could actually use it as either a bronzer or as a contour shade. So it is definitely, I would call it a cult favorite. But I feel that over the years, instead of creating new items, which they have, I'm not going to say that they haven't, but it hasn't been like something revolutionary. But what they've been doing is they've been repackaging their existing items. So I feel that every holiday we get the same thing, a big palette that includes all their blushes and their bronzers, and it's always the same thing. They might create here and there different shades of blushes, but that's pretty much it. Besides that, they're very popular and known for their eyebrow products. But I don't know, I guess at this point I'm expecting maybe eyeshadow palettes or lip products. I don't know. So now they created, or they are coming out with their spring collection, and it is little mini palettes. So it's two of them. One includes, one is called the Pink Squad and the other one is called the Bronze Squad. And I get it. They've added or included a new highlighting shades in these little palettes, and they're probably better. So if there's anyone out there that has yet to try any of the Benefit products like the blushes or bronzers, this would be an item that I would definitely recommend that you get, because then you get a mini palette of the products that they're known for. For example, the Pink Squad, it has their California blush, which I love the shade. It's like a peachy shade, really 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 nice. It comes with a highlighting pink shade called Tickle, and then Dandelion. They're also known for that blush Dandelion, which if you're darker than me, you probably wouldn't be able to use that, because I could barely get away with that shade. It's very very light pink. And then there's the Bronze Squad, which includes the Hula bronzer. If you have yet to try that Hula bronzer, this would be a perfect time to get it in that palette. It also includes Gold Rush and the new highlighting shade, which is called Cookie. So again, I just don't feel the need that I need to purchase these palettes to try their highlighting palette or the highlighting shades. It would just be a waste of products for me, because I do have the Hula bronzer and I do have the California blush. So that's the reason why for me it would be a pass. But again, if you have yet to try it, this would be the perfect way to try it in these little mini palettes. As I'm mentioning Benefit, I come across another post on Trend Mood. This was 2 days ago, and there's going to be the launch of these new palettes from Benefit on the 26th of February. And it's the same thing as I was mentioning. It's there are 5 pan palettes, which they include this little brush in their palettes. It's just the same product repackaged, and the only difference in these bigger palettes is that they're including the highlighting shades in those mini palettes. Yeah, so In one of the palettes, they're including California, Tickle, Hula, Dandelion, and Dallas. Again, if you've never tried Benefit, this would be the perfect way to get introduced to Benefit. The other one is Gold Rush, Cookie, Hula Caramel, Hula, and Coralista. Now that I didn't know that they came out with a darker Hula shade called Hula Caramel. But for me personally, I would rather purchase like that individually than purchasing a whole palette just to try out that shade. So again, it's just a pass for me. I'm gonna get out of this. Okay, so from the Ulta website, I'm searching under new arrivals, and we have again Too Faced that has collaborated with the housewife, Erica Jane. I don't watch Housewives, so I don't know who she is, but if I'm not mistaken, I think she also came out on Dancing with the Stars, and if that's her, then I know who she is. So this launch is going to be released and sold at Ulta on the 17th, so a few days from now. I don't know. There's nothing from this collection that's calling my name. Maybe also because since I'm not a fan, or and not a fan because I don't know who she is, that's probably why I'm not interested. Yeah, so I'm just not interested. Here's another palette, and this is a new launch from Essence. It's called Yes I Can Eyeshadow Palette. It retails for $14.99. It does come, it looks like it comes with a mirror, and it comes with 24 eyeshadows. And although I love Essence, I love Essence as a brand. It's an affordable brand. There are a lot of hit and misses, but most of the items that I have tried, I've loved and I've repurchased. Their mascara, their primers, I think they do an awesome job with products, the quality of the products at a very reasonable price. And although this one is a 24 pan eyeshadow palette, but for me it's going to be a pass. Again, it's one of those things that the shades kind of all start looking the same. There is not enough variety for me to want to purchase this palette, but for it looks more like an everyday neutral palette. Yeah, but for me, it's just too many similar shades that for that reason I'm not interested in that palette. Okay, here's an item. It is the Lorac Unzipped Eyeshadow Palette. They have one in Brazen, and then the other one is called Elegance. It's a 5 pan eyeshadow palette, and it retails for $25. Here's another brand that has kind of stayed behind in terms of originality. That sounds a little weird. They were very popular when I first started my YouTube channel. Everybody wanted the Lorac palettes. They were the go-to palettes. They were the best quality at the time eyeshadow palettes. They performed, the quality was there. They performed awesome. They blended out seamlessly. And from that point forward, I feel that they haven't really came out of that. So they created their, what were they called? So they had their original thin palettes, and then they decided to launch, I think, for as limited edition, the bigger palettes. I don't remember. I think they were called, I don't remember what they were called. The point is, They doubled up on shadows and they came out with a big palette. And I was always interested. I was always a fan, so I would always purchase the new launches, the new releases. But eventually, they kind of lost it along the way. And there's only so many palettes that you can ever create without starting to look like you're repeating yourself. At this point, it just looks desperate when you're doing this, because realistically, as a consumers, we know that we can get really good top quality products for a less affordable prices. I mean, we're seeing it from drugstore brands coming out with awesome quality eyeshadow palettes. You're talking about Elf, you're talking about ColourPop, you're talking about who else has awesome palettes? I can't think of them right now, but the point is there's so many affordable palettes at this point that it just seems a little desperate to come out with a smaller version of your other eyeshadow palettes and sell them for $25. Just seems a little ridiculous to me. And again, that's just my personal opinion. It's why I would not really bother purchasing something like that. It's shades that I probably already have with the amount of palettes that I have from Lorac. I'm pretty sure these are repeated shades, if not similar. So that's why I would pass on purchasing these individual palettes or mini palettes for $25. But again, if you are barely getting into makeup and you've never tried anything from Lorac in terms of the eyeshadow palettes, and spending $54, I think it's how much their regular palettes cost, regular size palettes cost, that is a hefty amount of money. So then I would at that point justify spending $25 to try a palette from this brand if you have not yet tried it. But for me, having the amount of palettes I have from Lorac, this would just be a really big pass in my opinion. So that's pretty much it for this video. I know that it seems a pretty negative video, but I feel that in some way this is kind of my thought process when it comes to new product releases or new product launches that are happening like constantly. They're happening, it feels like almost every month. So I have to, this is my thought process, this is what I have to convince myself, because being a beauty junkie that I am, a shopaholic, being a shopaholic that I am, I would just, if I had the means, I would just be purchasing like crazy. But I can't be doing that. Besides the fact that I do want to purchase new items for review purposes to inform you guys and let you know whether or not you should waste your money or not. I also want to make sure that I'm not just purchasing things just to purchase them because they're new launches. So that's just my thought process that I wanted to share with you. And these are just items that I happen to see that I just really feel that there is no way that I have a need for. And I just wanted to share them with you. Again, not trying to be negative, just trying to be a smarter consumer personally. But with that said, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I will see you next time. Bye.